master's student right now, studying clinical nutrition at the University of Nottingham. And it is an honor to be here today, and I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Indonesia Endowment Fund for Education, or LPDP, as my main sponsor, and Dr. Amanda Aferi as my supervisor. So today I'm excited to share my work on a systematic review with title, A Systematic Review of Lifestyle-Based Interventions for Managing Weight in Postpartum Mothers with a Pre-Pregnancy BMI more than 25. So here's the outline for today. It follows the format of systematic review, and first of all, let's begin with the rationale. So this systematic review went from the rationale that weight gain that is occurred during a pregnancy often predicted to increase the overweight or obesity onset in the long term or after 1 year postpartum. And however, in terms of the reality right now, the weight management advice for postpartum mothers, there's an ongoing advice to generally give and recommends a deficit 500 kilocalories per day and to recommend a low impact physical activity. However, in terms of the practical strategies itself around the weight management still remains unclear. And now the question is, what is the unclear? What's the definition of unclear here? So as you see at the bottom of the slide here in the reality section, I summarize 3 points. The first 2 points is that postpartum mothers often tend to have excessive eating because of the belief that breastfeeding will automatically lead to weight loss. However, there is insufficient evidence regarding that. And then the second reason is that postpartum mothers experience time restrictions and have limited time for self-care. And then the last one, women will live with obesity prior having pregnancy, may not trust the healthcare providers related to the weight management treatment because of the weight stigma. And all of those lead me to the research question, what is the most practical way in weight management for postpartum mothers who have a BMI pre-pregnancy more than 25? It is also, my research question also supporting the NICE guideline, that is to always prioritize principle of care for women after giving birth. And then the aim is to systematically review to seek the evidence regarding the appropriate weight management approach. And this is the PICO framework that I use for the population. I use the postpartum woman with a pregnancy BMI more than 25, and I use with a minimum 6 weeks postpartum and maximum 1 year postpartum. And then with the intervention, I focus on the lifestyle-based intervention. It includes the diet or physical activity or combination of all both. And then for the outcome, I decided to look at the weight change at the end of the intervention or at the end of the follow-up period. So this is the result. I follow the Prisma framework, but I use this figure to make it easier to follow. So from the initial search, I got 320 studies from the 3 databases and 1 citation searching, and then after going a 3 detailed process, I got full text analysis with 40 studies, and then in the end, I analyzed 8 studies, all of them is RCT studies. This is my exclusion criteria. I employed the 5 exclusion criteria. And then the result, the description and characteristics of my study is that all of them got a statistically significant in weight change, but one study demonstrates statistically significant in health behavior. So let's look at the detail here, the first 4. So it's basically the intervention type is diet and exercise, but with diet only intervention, they divided into the individual approach and group session approach. And then for the delivery setting, they also, all of them have an offline and online class, but with offline class, they also have a supporting tools. In this case, is a group plan. And for the weight change, as you can see, there's not only a weight loss, but there's also a weight gain demonstrated here. And this is the continuation of the studies. So let's look at the discussion part. I divided the discussion part into 2 sections. The first one is the weight change. I look after the weight change after a combination of diet and physical activity intervention. So 4 of the 5 studies who got a statistically significant weight change in the study, because the probability of the supporting tools that they use and the principles they employ during the intervention. Let's look at the supporting tools. In this case, is a booklet. So the booklet is handed out to the mothers, so the mothers will have a look again at home. And then the curriculum of the booklet here is important because it focuses on the problem solving and conflict resolution in nutrition and exercise. And then regarding about the principles they employ during the intervention, they have like 3 aspects here. They encourage a baby-friendly in eating practice and exercise, and the second one promoting inexpensive lifestyle activities, and the last one is focus on the gradual achievement, gradual progress. And the second discussion part is that I look after the weight change in an only diet intervention. So there are 2 studies that employ the same dietary guidelines in the intervention. They demonstrate a good weight change, but in this case, I found that the essence of the intervention approach is playing a significant role here because they give the mothers a full autonomy to allow themselves to set their own weight goals, and then the second one is to the intervention give the individual feedback and encourage a small progress. So with this one, there's an indication that mother's confidence also changed significantly, and it resulted in a weight change. So to conclude that my systematic review actually adding knowledge to the existing studies that in regarding about the practical strategies. So for the practical strategies and when giving the intervention to the mothers, it is important to look after the 3 aspects. First of all, to look after the autonomy, and the second one is to provide a personalized feedback and tangible educational materials, in this case to hand it out the booklet, and then the last one to focus on the gradual progress, because slow progress is still progress. And the last one, I made a quote. This is my summarized from my writings. So postpartum weight management is not just about the type of intervention, but it is about the delivering in a way that empowers, supports, and adapts to each mother's needs. And this is my reference. Thank you for listening.